quickly, and then we'll have you introduce the special guest. So thank you guys for preparing for us today.
Love it. Love it. If everybody just wants to unmute and let's give a hand to Jennifer's hair and the Schnitzers being here today.
Let's go.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, such a great way to start this Monday with you guys. Jennifer, I did send you a request to share my screen. We just prepared a couple of slides for today. Or you can share if you want to share just the last two slides.
Can you try? I thought I said yes.
Let me try.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay! I love to make a cheesy slide.
The
What a
great
beautiful
slide.
slide.
So fun, guys. So today's topic I have had in the back of my brain, really for this year. So our overarching theme for this year, to fill you guys in on the Schnitzer side, is what can symmetry do for you? And one of the first things that came to my mind was it gives us the ability to dream. That has been a massive, massive impact on me since I started here. Guys, if you did want to put a one in the chat, if you feel like you've been able to start dreaming bigger since you came to Symmetry, go ahead and put that in the chat. And for everybody who's not able to put a one in the chat, this call is for you. The Schnitzers say it and it comes true for them. We have watched that since we started in this business with them. So I am really, really excited to share a little bit of their story, guys, some of their accolades. Their accolades are not by far my favorite thing about them, but they've done some really impressive things here at Symmetry. So a couple of things. Let me bring that up, actually. Am I screen sharing still? Can you guys see this? So they sent me a couple things that they've done. It's absolutely amazing. Scott and Kate, if you guys aren't here with them in your business, sorry, if you guys are here with a partner, then you know the joy of it. They just shine that so bright. They work together in this business and they actually came here full time just a couple months before we did. So we've gotten a front row seat to just see them absolutely take off. They started here full time in September of 2022. Scott is a huge, huge writer. He's actually hit top producer, which is absolutely massive. In the last 24 months or so, he's written a little less than 600K. Absolutely mind blowing. In the past 30 months, over 700K, guys. Absolutely incredible. They've also won some incredible awards, the Quigley Leadership Award, and they've done that all with a very sweet 1-year-old at home and a baby girl on the way in April, which we're so excited for you guys. So we're super stoked to have you guys on this call this morning. Daniel is going to explain kind of the definition of what we think dreaming is and some of its antitheses. So what keeps us from dreaming? And then we'll do a Q&A with them. So Daniel, do you want to go ahead and explain this nice little thing that I drew up for us?
Absolutely. This looks great. This looks beautiful. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Scott and Kate. We love you guys so big. So excited to have you here. And man, this call today, we are excited about. We're excited to hear your thoughts. Gabs and I have been thinking about this for a while. Here's the thing. Dreaming is a bubble for us. There is a circle, and as you can see here, Gabrielle's beautiful drawing. This is what dreaming looks like for us. Okay. So when we are inside the middle of this circle, we feel like we are the most capable of whatever that dream is. So maybe that dream is something like, hitting your next promotion, or, if you're at 80%, hitting 85%, or you want to hit SNA, you want to do whatever things that you want to do here, that falls within your dream circle. Okay, so as you can see, that's your most possible, the thing that you believe is the most possible thing that you can do. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to expand this. We're going to push the limits, we're going to push the boundaries, and we are going to try to kind of hit up against this, because what happens as humans is when we push up against our dream, what we think is possible, we hit a point where something feels impossible. Maybe here at Symmetry, maybe it's like, I don't know if I can ever become a 130 equity partner. I don't know if I could ever do XYZ. It might even be something different than that. But what that triggers in us is when we push up against that wall, it's called the blame reflex. Every single one of us has it, and none of us are without it. It is something that we all do. It is called a blame reflex because it's quickly and mostly associated to a gag reflex, which is great because we all have that with something. It's a protection actually that our body uses against something. So a blame reflex is when we hit up against what we think is possible or closely, coming to impossible, and we start to blame somebody or something else of why we cannot achieve more or bigger than the dream that we have now. So most of us are like the rest of us, and we don't know that we're doing it. That's why it's called a blame reflex. So we're going to approach this today. We're going to start the conversation about pushing up against that blame reflex and learning why it's there. Boom. Gabrielle, back to you.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited. I wrote down a couple notes for that as well. Like the blame reflex is triggered when our self-identity is challenged. So when somebody says something that you really believe you can't do, it's like, oh, well, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. Or when we're pushed to our perceived capacity. So I'm really excited to help expand that bubble for everybody because I think our dreams are absolutely associated with what we actually believe is possible. So if we can expand that in anybody's mind, in our own mind, there's no limit to what you guys can do. And I think we've just seen that play out in a really cool way in the Schnitzers' lives and the Schnitzers' business. So we have some exciting questions. I'm excited just to hear you guys' answers for these. I will be excited to see who takes what.
Can we listen to you for the rest of this call? Anybody want to just listen to what else is on their minds right now? I do.
Guys, I come from radio, and I just have to say,
Yeah.
I'm so happy Daniel started his own podcast because you have such a radio voice, like just such a powerful, unique voice. I could listen to you if you guys want to cut us off and you keep going.
Yeah, we love you guys so much. You guys are a light. You guys are blessed. You guys have favor on you. You have an anointing on your relationship. We just adore you guys. So Jen, thanks for having us on your call. But I gotta give it up to the Cucheras right now because they're hosting. This is a special couple right here. I know there's lots of special couples on this call, but like I am drawn towards you guys. When we were at Ignite, I walked in and you guys' entire team is sitting at a table and I'm like the third wheel because I'm not on y'all's team, but I just like beeline it for the end of the table so that I can just sit across from you guys and spent most of the time staring into Daniel's eyes and looking at his luscious curly hair, but just
There's
had such a
things going
good
on.
time with you guys, just being around y'all. I mean, I could say the same for several people on your team, but you guys have a special anointing on your life and just super honored to know you guys.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. What an honor. What an honor it is to have you
Seriously.
guys.
Oh,
Seriously.
when you guys shared the topic with us, it was like, oh, this is right up our alley. I mean, Scott and I are big dreamers. We have been since the first time we met, and it's just really cool to see how it's developed. So this topic is very fitting and something we love to talk about. So
It's been the precedent of our business since before it started.
Yeah.
I came from the dealership world, Kate came from radio and digital. And we both were stuck in like the traditional style of job. I was working 70 hours a week at a dealership. Kate was actually coming back after COVID and being forced back into the office, which was nails on a chalkboard to her, right? They just given her a year and a half at home. Maybe less, maybe more, right, Kate? And she got used to it. And she was like, I don't want to go back in the office and the toxicity of the environment that I was in before. And so, this was kind of like our journey, like our conversations early on. Like we had big dreams. We're like, hey, this is what our family wants to do in the future. This is the type of time we want in our lives. This is what we want to be doing, who we want to be doing it with. These are the things that we want to be doing. And like we would just have these extensive conversations about what we wanted for our family, like big dreams, like specific things. I remember Kate and I, like while we were dating, we would just like stay up till 4 in the morning talking about all these different things we wanted for our kids. and what type of schools we wanted them to go to and where we wanted to travel with them. And so dreaming's always been a part of our relationship. And then when I got when I got introduced to this opportunity, I never looked at it as a sales job, even though I knew that I was going to have to figure out sales. Figuring out sales was like the short-term game for me. I was like, I just got to figure out that part. And Kate was on the same page because Kate was in the field for the first year and 6 months of our business. And we both knew we're like, man, we just got to figure out sales enough so that we can set ourselves free here because we know that this opportunity is special. It's different. The fruit from the people's lives that have made, I don't even want to talk promotions here because it's really not about promotion. It's about growth. Like Kate and I were chatting this morning, and we're like, literally, when you see someone, and we've seen a lot of our colleagues transform their lives from the inside out, which is way better than a contract level promotion, right? Living a happier, more joyful life, having deeper relationships with folks. Like you should see my relationships here with people at Symmetry versus the ones that I had at the dealership. Just the transformation. I mean, gosh, very toxic environment. Kate's like laughing inside probably right now because it was so bad, guys. It was just
It
so,
was
so
horrible.
if you've ever worked at a dealership, like I was just in, it was filth every day, just a bunch of dudes, wrong place, wrong time for me. Especially someone that wanted more out of life. So, gosh, it's always been such a staple in our business, guys. And it's so important to really realize like comp promotions, income, like all that stuff, you'll never be happy at any level unless you're able to dream and like let that transform you because that's what it takes to be able to accomplish those dreams. You're going to have this vision, you're going to lose it at times. You're going to face things that are really difficult and that glimmer in your eye is going to go away for a moment. And like how quickly can you get back on track and like really start like, okay, maybe something in me needs to change. Maybe something like in my environment or the people that I'm talking to or brushing up against every day, like maybe that environment needs to change. Maybe the things I'm listening to, the things I'm eating, the things that I'm looking at, like maybe I just need like a total transformation in order for this goal to even be conceptualized, like even just to get there. So love this topic.
Oh, guys.
We're going to try to keep Scott from being Danny and taking one question and just running for 45 minutes with it. So
That's
I'll
not
wheel him in
fair.
if we need to.
That's
I
not
love
fair.
that. No, thinking of you as a young Danny, young
Oh,
Danny.
Oh, 100%. Sometimes
Makes
I'm
me
like,
so
am I
happy.
living with Danny Young? Like, what did he just say? Like,
Oh gosh, Sandy Danny in the flesh. I love that. I love that, guys. No, I think I'll be excited to hear your answers for all of these. One of the quotes that I wrote down, and we'll see if this resonates with you guys. The capacity to dream is what creates the momentum to create destiny. We got that from some guy you
really?
probably never heard of, Ed Milet.
Oh,
Nobody,
we know a little bit about him.
nobody listens to
can
him.
you say it one more time?
Yeah. He says the capacity to dream is what creates the momentum to create destiny. And so the question I had around that was, how have you guys protected or fought for the capacity to dream inside or outside of business?
Yeah. Scott had said, the dreaming aspect has been a part of our business from the beginning, but it's really been a part of our relationship. If you guys don't know our story, very long story short, I was in Buffalo, New York. Scott was in Louisiana. We met on TikTok. Crazy story, God
Wow.
ordained, super cool. But our very first weekend together, we talked on the phone for 2 weeks, and then I flew down to New Orleans to meet him. We talked about buying an F-45 franchise business and like set up a meeting with headquarters and everything. Like from the very beginning, we were very aligned in like dreaming bigger, business, entrepreneurship, all of that. So as far as like the capacity and how that has affected our business, I think the dreaming is what has kept us in business,
Mhm.
truthfully. If you guys were a part of Danny's master breakout at conference last year, I talked about this, but I very much 1 billion% believe that we are here because of Scott's unwavering belief.
Mhm.
Absolutely no doubt. Like I will own it. And this is just very, I think, normal for women. Like they need safety and security. And when those days or those months were hard, like it was so much easier for me to tell Scott, go back to the dealership. It was so much easier for you to sell 5 boats and we'd be fine. Like, so while we knew we were taking 10 steps back to take 1,000 steps forward in this business for the rest of our life. Those moments that were hard, it was Scott's unwavering was and is still Scott's unwavering belief that keeps us in business. And I mean, like we have grown so much personally, individually, as a couple, in business, out of business. But the how Scott was talking about the promotions, like we're 125 now. We're regional agency director. Absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of that. But it is byproducts of our growth. It is byproducts of our continuing commitment to dreaming and what we want. And there's many moments where it's easy to just like I gave this a shot. I tried. It doesn't work. This is all a scheme, like whatever, it doesn't work, and walk away from it. Scott and I never gave it that. We never had a plan B. Like, I don't know if he mentioned this, but he was in partnership with his dad at the dealership. Like, that's a really hard conversation. And I left corporate America, and there was never a let's give it 12 months and we'll see. Like, it was always just the decision was made. The decision is still made. We got a lot of pushback. I did not get support from my parents. I got some nasty saying from my parents, if I'm being honest. And it can be easy to say, oh, well, they know best. They know, like maybe I should, my mom's right. I should have financial security, this, and this. But Scott's unwavering belief and dreaming and what we talking about and making a reality is what has kept us in business. So that capacity was always there, but I think it's only grown over the years, for sure.
I can relate back some to like the four cornerstones or four keys to a successful week. Jen, I love that you go over those. I don't know if you do that every single week, but it's like the cornerstones of our business and the keys of success to our business. Exactly how they sound. It's amazing. I think for me, the way that I protect that so much, I'm not trying to be cheesy, guys. I legit talk about these things every single day. The way that I protect that, the way that Kate and I do, two things that actually three I want to point out. Number one would be like associations. I think that's the biggest, most important cornerstone that there is because a lot can flow from there. Like your associations could either take you further in life or push you way back. It can help you dream or it can help you put yourself inside a box. It can help you achieve greatness or it can lead you to destruction. There are so many things that your associations can do for you. And Kate and I were like trying to talk about, some examples of that earlier today when we were just chatting briefly about this call. And I used to hang around people, and I'll be really honest, like they were just trying to save up enough money to buy a 30 rack on the weekend. There wasn't much left over, right? That was reality that was my friends group. That was the circle. Or to save up to go to a club or whatever, right? Like that was what I was used to. And I hired a mentor about 2 years ago. And one thing that he always says is he says that your alignments determine your assignments in life. So if you're taking notes, write this down. Your alignments determine your assignments, AKA who you get around determines where you go. And I also believe in context to this call, who you get around determines how you dream, right? You can be around a lot of people that suck that away from you or that give you life and speak life into you. And so I think associations are everything. And it fuels the second one that I'm going to talk about. The second one would be your commitment to ongoing self-development, personal development. That cornerstone is so important because this business, like, especially when you're thinking about like, I want to be a 130 one day. I want to have equity partnership to the point where like I can pour into my business and I can grow it and I can invest into it, but like I don't have to sell. I don't have to like be at my desk for a certain amount of hours a day. Like I can like that's my dream. I want to accomplish that. Like, well, that's symmetry and that can happen. But that can seem really far away. Like that could be a depth perception thing that I'm gonna hit you with some Ed Milet. That can seem so far away that it causes you to have disbelief, delay, delusion, and doubt. Go listen to the 4Ds by Ed Milet. It's such a good podcast, but it could seem so far away. So if you're always committing to self-improvement, that's a today thing. I don't believe like we should say like, oh, someday I'm gonna be and act like a 130. Like act like a 130 today, right? I want to be a top producer someday. How about we act like a top producer today? Like what would those people do today? Because today turns into a week turns into a month turns into a quarter, and a quarter turns into a year. So if I want to be a top producer today, I know top producers are usually setting 6 appointments a day. They're going to have anywhere from 20 to 25 appointments a week. I got to go set 6 appointments today. right? A 130, they handle bigger issues. So when I get a chargeback, I'm not going to cry about it today. That's the today stuff that I can do. So that's how I protect those things. And then um, the third thing would be like working on identity. And there's been a lot of identity work, especially like realizing how much power is within us. Like God's given us all of the, it says, seek first the kingdom of God, Matthew 6:33. I'll give you guys a scripture real quick. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. Like you can have access to all these things. Like the kingdom of God is within you. We're all incredibly powerful. We have different talents, different treasures. It all depends on what we do with our time. Time is a killer of dreams. It's a killer of goals. Like it matters about what you do today. So I think that's such a big thing there too, Gabs, Cal, or Daniel, sorry.
Happens all the time.
That's a big one.
That's wonderful. You guys better be taking notes today because Scott and Kate are dropping nuggets for sure.
And practically, I'll just say one more thing to that. Practically, what does today look like for you and what changes need to be made? Like, what does your morning routine look like?
Yeah.
What do your success routines look like right when you sit down at your desk? Like, take inventory, right? Don't bite off. Like they say, if you're going to eat an elephant, I think this is the weirdest quote. You're not going to take one big old bite, right? If you want time freedom here, if you want what symmetry has to offer, we're not going to take one big old bite. It's a bite at a time. What does today look like?
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so, so good, man. You guys are giving us the truth that we need, which actually relates me to the second quote that I'm going to share with you guys and ask a question based off of this. Here's a quote. The great seduction of blame is that it lures us into truths that don't help us advance in our lives while ignoring the truths that will. I'm going to say that one more time. The great seduction of blame is that it lures us into the truths that don't help us advance in our lives while ignoring the truths that do. So, Scott and Kate, question for you guys here. When is a time, this is a deep one here, that you remember blame holding you back from dreaming or achieving?
I briefly mentioned it, but I can tackle this one first. This one was hard for me. Like I will own my doubtful tendencies in the beginning. I came from sales. Scott came from sales. Literally, when Scott and I got married, Steve, my father-in-law, told me Scott is not very handy. It's not his forte, and he and he will say, and he said to me, he's not handy. You're not marrying a handyman, but you are marrying somebody that can sell enough to hire a handyman. And told me he's the best salesman you'll ever meet. So I'm coming in with a little bit of sales experience, like not a little bit. I had a lot. Like I had like 12 years of sales experience. I was in pharmaceutical sales. I sold radio and digital. So there was this part of me that was like, I know what I'm doing, but then I see Scott do it and I'm like, oh crap, I have no clue what I'm doing. So then you get into life insurance sales, you get into dials, you get into leads. It's a totally different ballgame. Sales experience or not, like it's hard. And while everything is provided for us to succeed, it is so easy to have those moments of doubt. And so that those moments of where it limited my dreaming definitely came in those early learning curves. Absolutely, without a doubt. But then seeing Scott sit next to me on the couch with a yellow pad of paper like Danny Young and just rewriting the script hundreds of times. Guys, the living room floor was like crumbled pieces of yellow paper everywhere, and seeing his commitment to it where I'm like, I'm going to go throw in a load of laundry. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do this. And I avoided it because I was like scared of it. I limited our capacity to dream and to believe in this even more because of that. Where Scott's sitting on the couch and rewriting his script 4,000 times and practicing it out loud, making it his own, all that. And I'm like, okay, I see that. So for me, the limit and kind of like taking that and blaming the leads, blaming the learning curve, blaming that it's hard. That's, I think, what helped limit our dreaming for a little bit there. But Scott is the one that kept us like in the game. But we were talking about this the other day, actually, about how there is a learning curve in every single part of this business. It is not, I figure out dialing and I figure out sales and I'm through my learning curve. That's your first learning curve, and that's a major learning curve that leads you to the rest. But guys, like how Scott mentioned a few minutes ago of act like a 130 now, that's from Ashley Tarr. So Ashley Tarr gave Scott and I that piece of advice when we were 85%. If you want to be a 130, act like a 130 now. We are 125s and we still say, what would a 130 do? What would a 130 do? What would a 130 do? A 130 never misses a national call. A 130 would respond to a leader like this. A 130 would coach like this. A 130 would meet the minimum of 5K by Fridays. A 130 would XYZ. So that's a piece of advice that Ashley gave us. But those learning curves, they didn't just stop at dialing. Like, yeah, I figured I was in the field for a year and a half. I did great. I will pat myself on the back for that. I loved it. I was good. I figured it out.
Being modest, she was killing it in the field.
But that wasn't the only learning curve. Then we hit AO. There's a learning curve being an AO. There's a learning curve when you become 100%. There's a learning curve when you break out in AO. There's a learning curve when you're XYZ. There's a learning curve when you break out and do your own call, your own leaderboards, things like that. There's always a learning curve here, but they stack on top of each other. So something that Scott and I really talk to our team about is always, 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 always being student mindset. Always being coachable, always being a student, never having this, oh, I will arrive after I figure out dialing. No, because then there's something else that you're going to have to grow through. There's going to be another learning curve to get through. And it's not bad. It's just making you level up. I mean, guys, do you think that Edward Pritchett didn't start where we all started? Like there, and he grew through every single learning curve. So having that mindset of I'm never arriving, I'm always growing, I'm always learning, I think is what really helps kind of set the reality of like, okay, if I'm going to dream this big and this is what I want, I need to accept that I'm never fully arriving. I'm always growing.
Mm, that's so good. Setting up that expectation. I feel like I've fallen into that trap so many times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be running in fields of gold after I figure out how to dial or set my appointments or run my appointments.
Yeah.
And I'm creating my own frustration, right? Because if I have the expectation that I'm going to get there and then go into my next learning curve, then the expectation is set correctly and I get to be excited, for that next growth curve. That's awesome, Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
good.
great, Shane. I put this in the chat really quick, but Brian Delaney said this at Ignite, and he said you have to be the person that's capable of handling the next thing.
Mhm.
It's not about arriving and then just being like, cool, we did it. It's oh, wait a second. All of a sudden I have a whole new list and things of doing. And that relates so much to dreaming, as well, and so much to blaming as well, because we have to be capable of being that person growing into that man or woman that's gonna get that thing and be able to handle the next level. Uh,
100%.
I
there.
think that person is always expecting there to be ups and downs. They're always expecting there to be something that's going to come through and try to knock them down. It's like you're almost, if you're that growth-minded person who knows who's been through anything, right? You're almost expecting, you're like, if I want more, I'm going to have to face more.
Mm-hmm.
And so when those things do come up, they look like molehills instead of mountains. You handle them with more poise instead of the way that you used to, because you're like, hey, the way that I used to handle things isn't getting me to where I want to go, so I gotta change me if I want to be able to get through that again this time. And for me, it was early on, I was just pouring so much time into this business, and the blame game for me like happened, a conversation in the kitchen happened, and this is where the blame game came up for me. Is I came out to the kitchen one night, and Kate's like, this was like first year in the business, and I'm pouring all my guts into this. And she's like, "Are you gonna spend any time with the family?" And like, I got offended. I got my ego came up to here. So men on the call, like we have egos. We have to be aware of that. It's a good thing sometimes. Mostly it's a bad thing. But my ego spiked up, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm building this business. I'm fighting for our family financially." And she's like, "Yeah, but like I feel like you're not spending any time with us, and I'm scared what it's going to look like when we bring a kid into this world." This was like before Liam came, and it was like a dagger in my heart, right? So like the blame that I was given, the blame was I'm fighting for our family financially. I'm doing all these things. The thing that I was avoiding was how she was feeling about the situation. right? So I had to ditch the blame big time. If I wanted to be a man, which I was, Daniel, at this time, I was like, I'm a family guy. I'm a good husband. I said all these things and that was who I was, but I wasn't acting it, right? I was sacrificing time with my wife for time, more time in the office. I was doing all these things. So you got to make a change. You got to catch that. Like, how do others perceive you through this said growth journey that you're taking? Because it can have effect on the people around you too.
Hmm.
Wow, that's really good. That's really, really good. That just the way you guys are talking and the
Hmm.
way that I hear you guys speak is a huge thing. And for you guys who are listening, if you've zoned out, zone back in, listen to the way that they speak because there is power, there is truth, and there is experience behind it. And that brings me to kind of this next point here, which is what we called empowered versus disempowered speech. So let me just give a really quick overview over this just for everyone, and then I'll leave this up to you, Scott and Kate, with the question. Empowered versus disempowered speech is the difference between saying something like maybe or yes and no. It is the difference between saying try and hope and will. It is the difference in saying I have to, or I choose to, or I get to. It's the
Kate,
difference.
Kate's boiling right now, bro. You're swearing in front of us,
Yeah,
man. Swearing in front
right.
of us. Kate's boiling right now. She almost cut you off before I did. Okay, keep going.
I love it. I love it. Well, no, it's the difference between an empowered language of saying this thing is something I will do rather than something I am trying to do because disempowered language brings blame. It invites blame. So, with that being the overview of kind of what we're talking about here, Scott and Kate, how has your language changed over time when you guys are dreaming, when you guys have dealt with blame over time, when you guys are hitting your goals? How has your speech patterns changed, and how has that impacted your journey, your business, your life?
I'll go first and
Go
I'll let you. Yeah,
ahead.
so we don't say try, hope, or wish in our house, and we don't allow really our friends or our agents to do that either. They can say it, but Kate will respond back real quick and she'll be like, "Oh, you just said a swear word. Try reframing that again." Right? Because when someone says try, like I want to try, or I hope this will work, or I wish this would, like when you say things like that, you're taking away power from what you can do yourself.
Hmm.
Like if you want to try something, chances are you probably won't do it. And so like thank God for associations. I had a mentor that kept doing this to me and it was over and over and over and over until I started doing that to other people. I passed that on to my friends. I passed that on to our circle, Kate, that we hang out with, and now they're starting to pass it on to people. Like we don't say try in our tribe, or we don't say try in our family. Like that's constantly what we're reminding people, and that's bleeding now over into our team. So when an agent texts us, and let's just give an example, I'm trying to hit 90 this month. Let's reframe that. What are you actually going to do this month? Okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, let's reframe that. What are you going to do? Okay,
Hmm.
this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to commit to this, this, and this. All right, so it's like a whole mindset shift, and that like it really does go back to associations because I'm not that smart. Gabrielle threw out a word at the beginning of this call. I didn't even know what it meant. I had to look it up. You guys, I typed it in the Google. So
Yep.
I'm really not that smart. I've stolen a lot of good stuff from a lot of good people, and that's why our business is where it's at right now, is because we're constantly seeing like these people have the fruit that we want in their lives. So I'm gonna copy it. Like I'll give you an example. Like some people will say like, "Hey, I want to make this amount this year." I talked to a guy in this business. He didn't talk about how much money he wanted to make. This was an association like brain like major growth moment. He says, I want to donate this year. I want to donate 500K to my church. That's my only goal I have this year. And like just hearing him say that, I was just I, I'm not even making that. You're gonna give that away this year? So it was the mindset shift, but like just getting around people who talk that way, really your thoughts become your emotions become your words become your actions become your habits, which become your destiny. Like it all stems from that and it comes out of you and it becomes who you are. So if I'm gonna physically say, I'll try this. I'm gonna try to be a good husband. I'm gonna try to be a good leader. Like I already failed. I already gave it death. I'm gonna give it life. I am. Like I came up with my own mission statement, my own I am statement. I'm a man of discipline, honor, and presence. I am a joy-filled leader who values relationships and who serves the Most High King. That's who I am. I am not anything else. Those are the things that I stand on. So if you even give depth to the words that you're saying out loud, same thing even with your clients. You guys, you can give depth to the conversation real quick, right? This is what we're going to do today. Today language, right? Not, hey, we're going to go through an option. And if you feel like doing something, we can talk about possible next steps. Like, no, like today we're going to talk about options for your family. And today we're going to give you peace of mind by filling out an application. It all transfers. It's energy.
Love that. That is powerful. Powerful stuff. I think like the overarching vision that I have for this call, guys, is that it would empower you to dream again, because I think that is going to be the forward motion for any of our learning curves or growth patterns or anything like that. And so to kind of make the connection here, I think what blame does is it really takes away our personal autonomy, our personal choice, our personal agency. Because the minute that, well, it's their fault, now it's not something that I can fix. And so I've absolutely love just the empowerment, guys, Scott and Kate, that you've highlighted for me today that dreaming gives you. Like it's really this empowering thing. So let's go ahead and wrap up with this today because we're running against time. What would your advice be to the agent that's recognizing their own blame reflex, their own limitations, and wants to step into empowered dreaming? What would your advice be?
I'm freezing. You guys are all freezing on me. So Scott, you go because my computer's tweaking.
All right, you're back. You go first, babe.
Okay, say it again, Gabs.
Yeah, what would your advice be to the agent that is recognizing their own blame reflex or their own limitations and they want to step into dreaming? What would your advice be for the agent that finds themselves in that position today?
Knee jerk, that first thing that comes to mind is get out of your own way. Get out of your own way and stop avoiding dreaming. Like those big God-sized visions and dreams that you're like, that would never be possible. By saying that, by declaring that over that, you're going to bring that into reality. Guys, Scott and I have grown so much in this business, but guess what? We're in the very first house I ever bought. It's 962 square feet. And we're completely happy here. We have another baby on the way. It's small, it's tight with two crazy dogs. But guess what we do at night sitting on the couch? We go on Zillow and look at $800,000 houses, $1 million houses in neighborhoods that we want to be. Driving through neighborhoods of like, oh, we could do this one and then they could walk to school here. Like we already talk about all that because we know that it's going to be possible in the next few years. We have absolutely no shame in saying that. It's not cocky. It's not anything like that. It's so confident in what we're doing and what we're building. We didn't come here to live in my very first home that I ever bought for 962 square feet for the rest of our lives. Like we did not come here for that. We came here because we want the freedom. We want that. Like all of that is so possible, and we talk about it daily. I don't care about cars, but my husband loves Porsches, and he wants a Porsche one day. I don't see the point in it. It makes no sense to me, but he can have his Porsche one day. I don't care about that. I want to be able to send our kids to the Christian school that we want, no matter As of right now, we're done at 2 kids, Tim Coates, sorry. But $15,000 a year or whatever it is, like I want that to not even be a concern. I don't want that to restrict us. I went on one vacation when I was in third grade. I went to Disney. My parents had 4 kids, they couldn't afford anything else. I want to be able to take my kids to see the world. Like that's what I want. Like I don't care. Scott and I care about different things, but all of it comes from the vehicle of symmetry, bringing us to financial freedom, bringing us to more real estate that we want, bringing us to buying a place in Destin again, all of that. But being able to tithe and give back to our church in a way that this guy that Scott was talking about talks about. You know, we had a family friend that I always go back to this. We had a friend that their little daughter had cancer and they had to go from Louisiana to New York City for 2 months. And all we could give at the time was $1,000. And that's a huge blessing. I'm so grateful we could do that. But I said to Scott, wouldn't it be so cool to call the hospital and wipe their debt, wipe
Mm.
their hospital bills? Wouldn't it be so cool to call their mortgage company and pay it for 6 months? Like, wouldn't that just be so cool? And for no recognition, for nothing like that, but just to be able to do that without thinking, without, I don't know, that's going to make us really tight because of this. Like, I just wouldn't it be so cool to call and say, hey guys, mortgage is paid. Take as long as you need. Don't worry about it. Like, how cool. That's where our hearts are of that's how much we talk about it because we want it to be a reality. So long-winded answer, my advice to a new agent is get out of your own way. Talk about it, think about it, dream about it, write about it, share it. And if people look at you like they're crazy, let them. My dad told me, are you stupid for leaving my $90,000 corporate America job that I absolutely hated and I was miserable in? Hated it. He literally called me and said, are you stupid? Now he sees how much we've grown and now he's like, so how's business? Tell me everything. So those people that look at you crazy, let them, and just continue on.
Crazy equals rich in life. I'm not just talking about money.
Yeah, what does Wilbur say? Get
Normal
weird.
equals poor. What's that?
What does Wilbur say? Get weird.
Yeah, get weird. Crazy, weird equals rich in life. Okay, go do the thing. I mean, you can either set yourself on fire and get yourself free here from needing time or money, right? Or you can go back and work for someone else for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I think mine's very similar to Kate's advice. And it seems almost too easy, but if you want to make it here, when doubt comes up, you got to call it out and stop doing that. When disbelief comes up, you got to call it out and stop doing that. When you're delaying things, you got to call yourself out and stop delaying things. And like when delusion comes in, like and it's like the story or the rhetoric inside your mind starts playing with you, you got to call it out and stop doing that. Like just stop that stuff. Like you can be practical about it. Like, hey, I'm falling into more doubt. Like I need to pull myself out of this. Stop. I need to call someone. I need to associate with this person. I'm gonna call Daniel and maybe just ask him for 20 minutes of coaching, 15 minutes of mindset talk. There are practical things you can do, but guys, it's so worth it. Like I left the field 2 months ago. I did not think that this would come this quickly. This was one of my doubt things for when we were talking about dreams today, Daniel, that we didn't get to touch on, but it was one of the things where I was like, that can't happen for so long. It made sense to happen very quickly in the game for us.
It
But
wasn't even necessarily planned either, which is cool.
That's
yeah,
cool.
it happened. It happened through a rough month. I'll be honest with you. So at the beginning of last month is when we like actually verbalized it. Last month was wild, guys. My dad had 7 bypass
It was
bypass.
supposed to be a
It's
quadruple
supposed to be a
bypass. They ended
quadruple. He
up
had
doing 7.
7. So I went down to Louisiana to be by his bedside when he was recovering. I was out for like 6 days of business. I was totally with him the entire time. What a blessing,
Wow.
right? I got home and I left for a men's ministry event, which Kate doesn't say no to those. She says yes, even though it was like 4 days after I got home. I got back on another plane, went to Dallas. Since Ignite was like 4 days after this ministry event, Kate said just stay. Like she was like just stay there. The business will be fine. Just stay
Mm.
there, go to Ignite, come home fired up. So I was gone for 9 days after just being gone for 5 or 6. And then the morning I woke up for Ignite, this was Thursday, I believe the day that Ignite started, found out my grandpa passed away. And this was like the closest grandfather. I mean, he's my only grandfather. Dude raised me. He was at every sporting event. He's the reason why I started doing triathlons. He's the reason why I started swimming. So I got home for 3 days and left again for Oregon for another 4 or 5. Like I was gone 22 days last month, guys, and our business still took care of us financially and some. And that's the opportunity we have here. Like Kate was talking about being able to call somebody and pay off their medical bills. That's the opportunity we have here. You can set your family free from needing to be at a desk, needing to worry about time and where you're going to spend it, to getting to choose where you spend your time, who you spend it with, and the things that you're doing. That's powerful. So yeah, that's it. We're over on time. Sorry, guys.
No. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Scott. This has been absolutely incredible. The perfect way to start this week. I am
Come
really,
on.
really stoked for that. Guys, I think the main thing that you can take away from this, like your only action piece here, is some self-reflection for you guys to be able to say, this is where I'm placing blame. This is where I'm taking away my own autonomy, my own choice. Aside from that, we have so many incredible people here. I know that if you ever reached out to the Schnitzers or Daniel and I or Jennifer, the Gaines, whoever your uplines are, and said, hey, like I ran into some doubt today. I ran into some limiting beliefs today that I didn't know I had. Can we talk about this? Can we work through this? That is the only action step that you guys would need. We have so much belief for every single one of you. And I'm excited to watch all of you guys grow into your own empowerment, your own dreams, your own belief. I almost said cadence. I almost said it's back.
Skate. Come on.
Everybody calls us skate now. It's fine. No, but
I,
Gab, I wanna add one thing. We're in the last week of March, which I don't know, it's easy to just fly through these months. It's the last week of the first quarter of 2025. So if you guys started 2025 with, I'm gonna be XYZ, whatever that promotion is great. But remember what we were talking about in the beginning of the call. That is a byproduct of your personal development and your personal growth. So instead of, yes, focus on those promotions and what you need to do, but also going into Q2 and what you want to finish 2025 as, start dreaming, start writing it down, start speaking over it, start making it real and making it possible. Sarah Reineke and Jamie Susie, you guys have heard this before, have always said a year from now. It is so cool going into our 4th year, guys, looking at our business year by year by year. And Scott and I talk about now, oh, a year from now, oh, 3 years from now, like Liam's going to be starting kindergarten. He's going to be here. We're going to be in a financial place that we can pay his tuition in full. Like we literally have these conversations. And once you just start speaking about it, so like if Q1 did not pan out the way that you expected, you came into the new year on fire, there's still time. You have 1 week left in Q1. Start Q2 differently.
That's
come
good.
on.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I put my Instagram tag underneath my name. Add me. You can find Kate in my bio. If you guys ever need anything, just shoot a message on Instagram. We'll link up.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Scott.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Gosh, thank
Awesome.
you guys.
Yeah,
This was
thank you.
great.
Thank you guys so much. This was the best. We love you guys.
I love you.
Love y'all. Big time.
So much
All right,
love.
we'll meet you all at conference. Buy your ticket if you haven't. We already have ours.
Let's go.
Let's
Awesome.
go. See you
Very
guys.
happy Monday, guys.
Monday.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
We'll talk
Thank
to
you
you later.
guys.
Bye.